Well, hello everybody watching. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Rival. We cannot wait to bring some news to you guys. My name's Joe, I'm an editor with The Rival. And this focus of this interview is going to be about student government. Get all my eggs out on the table. I don't care about student government. I know nothing about student government. But people do care, and people are in student government. And one of those people who's in student government is Will Mascaro, who we're going to hear from. And somebody who is not in student government is Will McNamara, who will tell you a little bit about why he's not in student government. So if you guys would just love to introduce yourselves, say a few things, whatever you want.
Sure. My name is Will Mascaro. I am a member of the class of 2018. I'm a PR and strategic comm major. My favorite food, I like Fig Newtons. And I was the speaker of the undergraduate senate.
Yes, and I'm Will McNamara. I'm not in SG anymore. I was in it for 2 years, and this year, my senior year, I decided to focus on my degree, focus on my job, so I'm not in it anymore.
Wow, well we are just so thrilled to have both of you guys here today. And yeah, we just want this to be a really casual conversation, like don't be awkward or weird about it as much as you can, please.
Deal.
Yeah, try. So real quick, I just want to ask specifically you, Will Mascaro first. Why are you in student government? What do you do? What's up with that?
I didn't do student government in high school, and so I didn't anticipate doing it in college. Someone ended up daring me to apply for one of the open positions when I was a first-year student, and I did. I didn't think I was going to get it.
There was a lot of thought that went into it.
Exactly. It was like a long weeks, months.
Yeah.
It was not. It was literally like a midnight, last-minute decision. Like filed the application minutes before the deadline, and like here we are.
Yeah.
So like
that's how I got married to a stripper in Vegas. Actually.
Perfect. Okay, good. So we have something in common already. Okay, I love it. So yeah, I mean, like that's how I got involved. It was like totally crazy, spur of the moment. Why I stay? I think when student government is done right, we have the real opportunity to be a force for change and progress on this campus. And when student government is done wrong, it requires people to step up and put us back in the right direction. And so I try to do both of those things. Always, sometimes we veer from the path of success, but I think the experience I've had so far has been valuable enough that it keeps me around and keeps me a believer.
Okay, we're a believer or a believer?
For the meantime, a believer,
okay.
But I could be converted by Justin.
Okay,
yeah.
That's cool.
Do you believe in life after love?
Cool, and so, William, if you want to talk, you were in SG, now you are not. So just talk a little bit about that. Why aren't you in it anymore? What's up with that?
Yeah, well, so I really, I did enjoy my time in SG. I think it was an experience that sort of turned me into the person I am today. But the reason why I chose to leave ultimately is because I felt like my goal, which was to sort of to do advocacy and to make the community a better place, I could do it outside SG. I think that there's this illusion that being in SG is the only way to make change on campus, and that's definitely not true. SG can do a lot of good things, but you can also do a lot of good things just being a concerned and engaged person, which then also allows you more time to focus on the outside world, focus on getting a career, which definitely becomes more important once you're a senior.
I don't have anything witty to say about your research, so we'll just move right along. But basically, I do want you guys to just sort of talk about, with both of your different experiences, like what does student government do, specifically the Senate, but also other parts of student government that I don't know about. Yeah, just talk a little bit about like why does it exist? What is it for?
Yeah, I guess for the Senate specifically, we try to be, to the best of our ability, the representative body of students on campus. And that means a number of things. We try to craft legislation and create initiatives that advance the concerns and issues of students at American University. And I think the most important thing we do is engage and be accessible and be transparent to students. So I think Will just hit the nail on the head, other Will, when he said that you don't need to be in student government to make a difference, to do activism. That is absolutely true. Time and time again, you see at Senate meetings, the most influential person is a regular student coming into the meeting, speaking in one of our public comment hearings, and they change the course of our Senate and the shape of the discussion. And so we try to bring as many students as possible to the table, let them know that we're here for them, let them know that they are in charge and we are here to serve them in their interests. I think that is, in an ideal world, when we're at our best, the purpose of the undergraduate Senate.
Yeah, for sure. You had some interesting facial expressions.
Did I?
Yeah.
That's just,
Maybe it's just,
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe
I
it's
think
your face.
Will's great. I've heard that speech countless times about sort of what student government is in the ideal, and I think that that's very valuable, talking about what student government is in the ideal, but that's definitely not what it is in the reality. In the reality, in addition to the advocacy that does get done, there's a lot of bickering, there's a lot of infighting, there's a lot of bullshit, and I think that the students get really tired of that. So when you ask, like, what does SG do? I think that's important to acknowledge, is that there are people in SG who do really good things, and then there are people in SG that do really useless, time-wasting things. And unfortunately, that's the bit that people hear about, that's the bit that upsets students, and that's the bit that sort of taints what the other people do. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it.
Yes, I agree. So, kind of going off in a similar vein, I think a really important thing that a lot of people want to know is, what, Will, are you watching on Netflix right now?
Good question. I just finished Narcos, actually.
Okay.
Pablo, I'm a big fan.
Maybe
yeah,
you'll see this.
Yeah, maybe he will. Maybe he's still in hiding.
What is Narcos? What is this?
It's like a drug.
Narcos.
Colombian.
Yeah. Well, as the specialist that just watched 10 episodes in a few days.
Right.
Narcos is about a gang in one of the South American countries that was a drug cartel. And Pablo Escobar is the leader of one of the cartels.
And
I think he's a real person.
Pablo Escobar, wasn't he? I feel like he was like a baseball player in one of those little league.
He's actually a student at America. I think he's in the Senate actually.
Oh, really? Yeah. It's actually me.
Yeah.
It's actually me. I changed my identity.
What are you watching?
So I'm not watching anything on Netflix right now, but I am watching Hulu because I'm weird. And I'm watching Rick and Morty, which has become my new favorite show of all time. It's like Doctor Who if Doctor Who was like a belligerent drunk, and he just like goes around the universe doing all this crazy stuff. It's super funny. You should totally check it out.
Good,
I think you especially would like it.
Interesting. But speaking of Netflix, there's a popular show I'm sure you guys know about, House of Cards. And I know, particularly in light of some recent happenings within student government, there were some comparisons I saw on social media between the Senate of American University and House of Cards, Frank Underwood, all that sort of stuff. Do you think that's an accurate representation? Do you think it's just cynical? Like, what's up with that?
No, it's not. The job of student government is to advocate for students. It's not to be a government in the formal sense. We don't pass and enforce laws. We go to administrative offices and we'd be like, hey, we think that Yik Yak is a fucked up app and should be deleted from everybody's phones.
Did you want to say anything about that really quickly?
Yeah, I think Will's right. And I think I would say this. I think the number of individuals who consider their role similar to House of Cards are quickly dwindling. Because students are catching on that these people exist and that they're not in it for their best interests. People who say that they joined the undergraduate senate to prove that it can't work. Those people are quickly becoming known, and I think this election will be an opportunity to make sure that they don't come back.
Cool.
I hope so.
And I did just want to real quick turn to the infamous letter that was recently published from on a campus news source, all that sort of stuff. One of the quotes from Louis Ryan, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
That he said in it was that Senate becomes like an addiction and compels people to destroy themselves and each other. Will, specifically, I mean, do you have anything to sort of respond to that? Do you think that Senate is an addiction for people and it destroys people?
Yeah, what do you think?
And what has it done for you?
Absolutely. Well,
yeah,
I think
talk about that.
I think I would answer this in two ways. The best individuals that best advocate for students in student government are the ones who are rooted in other areas of the community of American University, who have not made their lives out of being career politicians in student government. Because we're not politicians, like Will said, we should be advocates. And so it is individuals who are rooted in organizations like Queers and Allies, in AUCC, in Media Board, in different club sports, that take their learned experiences as members of American University and apply that to their goals and achieving the students' goals in the Senate. About the letter in general, I would just say this. I personally am not upset by anything that was said. Every student, in student government or not, has the right to criticize and to offer opinions about what I've done over these past 9.5 months in the undergraduate Senate. What does bother me is the way in which other senators who have nothing to do with me were dehumanized and insulted in that letter. Senators like Kirsten Gillette Pierce, who passed the historical legislation that requires all members of student government to be racial and cultural sensitivity trained, was reduced to a mere sidekick. Senators like Lex Arnell, who reached student government to new standards of accountability and transparency, pushed us farther, is now reduced to nothing. Someone who doesn't matter, whose achievements don't matter. That is, to me, not okay. Ever disrespecting someone like that is never okay, regardless of who you are speaking about or what you're speaking about. So if there's any message I can have about the letter is this: please continue to criticize me. Please continue to hold me and every member of student government absolutely accountable. But at the same time, don't let anyone tell you that individuals have not earned a level of respect that I think any human being deserves.
Yeah. But I think that what the letter didn't touch on was the pretension of the fact that this letter of resignation had to exist in the first place. One of my friends made a post of the Eagle wrote an article about a senator resigning from Senate. What's the headline supposed to be? Kid leaves club. And I think that's important because it was so grand, so big. And this is what I think is the issue in student government, is that there's all these titles and formalities that just they exist for no real reason. In any other club, you have leaders, you have organizers. Look at Fossil Free AU, which I think is one of the most successfully set up campaigns in this university's history. There's no president and speaker of Fossil Free AU. They have organizers. They have people who are just sort of natural leaders who care about the movement. And I think that that's the way that student government should be structured. If you want to be a leader, then be a leader. But the fact that you're a speaker, or the fact that you're the comptroller or chief of staff or whatever the fuck, does not make you a leader in and of itself. You have to earn that title.
Yes. Well, I hope you enjoyed this deliciously wonky discussion of student government. And those of you who made it through till the end of the video, we applaud you and your wonkish spirits. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.